Hi class, I hope you like the new program we're going to use today for our videos. We're going to go through the Monday night homework. And today in class we talked about a topic called slope. And we talked about two different equations that we used. One was change in y over change in x. Change in y talks about the vertical change in our line, and x the horizontal change. The second one was the equation rise over run. And remember that sometimes rise can be drop, and when rise is drop, it is a negative slope. Today I'm going to use the rise over run equation. That's probably the easiest one to use with graphs, so that's why we'll look at that one. So let's go ahead and do our first example. Whoops. Still getting used to this program too. Crazy orange lines everywhere. Okay. So our first example. Remember that just like we read from left to right, that's how we're going to go on our graph. So we're going to look at the first point on the left, which they give us as right here, and then we want to travel to the next point. And for this graph, they gave us 2 points, but remember we do want to find perfect intersections if they don't. So this point right here is not a perfect intersection because it lands between 2 corners, and that means we don't know the exact value. And we want to make sure that we're accurate and we know the value. So we are going to travel from this dot at 0, 2 to the dot 3, -3. And when we do this, we are going to first think of rise or drop. And to get from our first point, right here, to our second point, we cannot go up. That's not really going to help us. So we have to go down. And going down means that we are going to drop. So I'm going to put a negative. And we go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 5. And now I need to run, so I drop 5 and run 1, 2, 3. Run 3. And remember, slope is m, so we can write that m, or slope, is -5/3. And that is our answer. Let's go ahead and do another example. Example 2. Again, we're going to move from left to right. So here's our first dot. Here's our second. This one we are going to go up, so we know that our first number is positive. We're going to go up 1, 2, up 2, and run 1. So our slope, m, we can simplify. 2 over 1 is just 2. If you want to put the positive there, you can. So in this example, our slope is +2. And remember that when our slope is positive, our line is going to be going up. And in our first example, our slope was negative and our line travels down. Okay, so something to just keep in mind. And we have one more example. For this one, I want us to make sure that we pay attention to our x and y axis. If we notice, the numbers are not 1. And since the numbers are not 1, when we rise or drop and run, we're going to count by tens because that is the change on our axes. So instead of counting 1, 2, 3, we're going to count 10, 20, 30. So we want to find some perfect intersections. So let's go ahead, look at our first one. That is not a perfect intersection, right? It's in between 10 and 20. We can make a guess, but we want to make sure we're accurate, so we don't want to use that point. So let's go ahead and keep looking. We have a perfect intersection here. I need to find one more. And for this one, I'm actually going to mark a third. I want to double check my work and make sure that I do it correctly. So I have 3 points. Now let's find the slope. So again, we're going to look at rise over run. So to get from the first point to the second, I'm going to rise one box, which is actually 10. So I'm going to say 10, rise 10, and I'm going to run 10, 20. So rise 10, run 20. I can simplify this, right? We can divide by 10. So 10 divided by 10 is 1, 20 divided by 10 is 2. So I think that my slope is 1/2. And let me double check that again. So I'm going to go from my second dot right here to my third and see if that slope I found does in fact work. So I'm going to rise one box, or 10, and run 10, 20. That does work. And we can keep going, and this will go on forever. Rise 10, run 20. Perfect intersection. Rise 10, run 20. Perfect intersection. So there are our notes for Monday night. Go ahead and do the 3 on your own problems. Make sure to pay attention for the positive and negative slope. And Mr. Lopez will be there if you have any questions tomorrow. And please don't hesitate to email me if you want to talk about anything this week while I am out. Thanks. Have a good night.